Okay, celebrities, stop saying we're in this together. Also, corporations, stop saying we're in this together. It's just not true. Hello, my name is Logan Michon. I am a sommelier student and a ex-cosplay girl, and eventually my channel will be about food, travel, and hosting at home. But for the time being, I'll be posting daily, Monday through Friday at 5 on this channel about whatever is going on while I'm unshut. I wasn't going to get into this, but it ties so well into the theme of this video, so I'm just going to talk about it now. I was posting on a regular basis 2 years ago, and then I just kind of stopped, even though I was starting to get engagement and starting to build followers because my aunt was murdered. This will sound callous, but and privileged. The most traumatic event in my life was going to her funeral. Growing up, my parents were pretty young. My mother was 20 when I was born, and my dad is my age now, or was my age now when I was born. I'm 25, so it's not like they had a lot of money or resources at the time. I wouldn't say that I was like poor, but we were not in a great place financially because it takes time to accumulate wealth. I was really close to my cousins when I was growing up because they didn't really have much and I didn't really have much, so we spent so much more time together because we lived closer to each other. So we were living in the same area, so it wasn't a big deal to go see them when they were down the street versus me living here in DC and the rest of my family living in the South. The last time I saw them before my aunt's funeral, I think was my 13th birthday, which was a spectacle. That thing was it was to the Ritz. We had food of plenty. I got like a PS2, I think, that year with like multiple games. There was a projector in our basement. We just bought this huge house, and I never really thought about what it must have been like for them coming to my birthday party after us growing up together, living in completely different lives. And then not even a year after that, my dad got even a better job, and we ended up moving to DC. And I don't really know how to explain this to someone who hasn't moved from the South to DC or even anywhere up north. I know technically we're at the Mason-Dixon, but it's a completely different thing living here versus living in Georgia. I remember distinctly what it felt like walking into my first classroom in my high school and being the only Black person for a while. Like I hadn't experienced something like that, and then I also was getting shoved like up the socioeconomic ladder in a way that was jarring and a big culture shock. Pivot to my aunt's funeral. It's a person that I was very close to who helped raise me, and I thought to wear the best clothes I had. So I'm wearing like a Ralph Lauren dress, pearl necklace, designer shoes and purse, with my hair freshly pressed from the salon and a fresh manicure and a face full of Sephora. To see people I haven't seen in 10 years who'd been living those 10 years in basically poverty. And I had such a visceral reaction to that. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I was like crying in the bathroom, and I knew I had to give this eulogy, and it was just like such a traumatic thing even afterwards as I'm like living my life back here, just not understanding how much better things were for me and how much worse things were for them. It was just intense for me. So I spent the last 2 years in therapy. I was diagnosed with PTSD caused by survival guilt, which honestly I thought was only a thing that soldiers got. But apparently there's been an uptick or a trend in the Black community for having PTSD as well. And I don't know what it's like to be a celebrity. I don't know what it's like to kind of feel like your life kind of belongs to the people around you. But I do know what it's like to be amongst trauma, surrounded by people that don't have enough when you're living a life of abundance. And it is not as bad as not having enough, but it's a crippling amount of guilt that you have to live through every single day, both compared to, and you don't want to you feel bad for not feeling bad enough. In addition to that, celebrities have to be relatable now, especially in the era of social media. Like, being relatable is the highest commodity. So they keep trying to run this narrative of we're all going through the same thing, and it's just untrue. I don't know what your situation is right now. Like you guys, I don't know what you're going through. But we're not in this together. I'm aware of that. I'm a 25-year-old who's unmarried with no kids and disposable income. We're not in this together. I make on average more than a typical American home with 2 full-time working adults. We're not in this together. And I know that it doesn't matter how much money you have, you could still catch coronavirus and die. But if I show any symptoms, I still currently have health care. So I can go to my family physician, catch things early, and not worry about being bankrupt when I leave. And that is not the reality for most Americans right now. And pushing this idea that everything is like we're all handling the same situation, we're not. I might be in this alongside you, but we're not in the same lane. My biggest concern right now is whether or not I'll be able to leave the country for summer vacation. Not will I make rent or how would I feed my kids today. I am aware of the amount of privilege I have. And I will never even remotely try to insinuate that I'm living the same life as someone who's an essential worker right now at a grocery store, risking their lives every day just because they have no other choice to get money enough to be able to survive, just having the essential things they need for a day-to-day. So celebrities, corporations, unless you're out on the front lines risking your life too, we're not in this together. I'm gonna end the video there. I just want to say, stay safe out there. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.